How much different has it been climbing that ladder as a manager compared to as a player?
I'd say the climb has been very similar. I would say that the first spring training in 2007 as a manager up until probably the end of May, in some ways I felt like a rookie all over again, felt like a fish out of water as far as what I was trying to do, and there was a lot to be learned. The same way as a player, coming up as a young player, you learn from the ground up and right up through the major leagues. So this is no different than that. I think there's been a lot for me to learn as far as managing goes. It's definitely different than being a single player out there on a team. It's been a very nice exercise, and I think a lot of this was kind of stirred up when I went in the Hall of Fame in 2005, and just going through that process, thinking back to the minor leagues and all the coaches, managers that helped me along the way, and really all over again, really appreciated professional baseball and what it has to offer, and what a lifestyle and what a way of life it was being in the major leagues all those years. So that kind of got the things stirring a little bit, and I wanted to get back in the game. After the '97 season, I stayed with the organization as a spring training instructor. Did that for 8 years. Was able to coach a little bit, be around managers, Don Baylor and Dusty Baker, and be a part of the coaching staff for the 6 weeks in Arizona. So I think that was one of the smartest things that I did, because I think once you get away from the game, it's hard to get back in. So I kept kind of a foot in the door, which was good. And then when I decided to pursue this and see if I liked it and see if I was any good at it, I knew all the people with the Cubs, so I went off to Peoria and started there, which I think was very necessary, and I think it was a good opportunity. So I've just as a player, I've looked at this as an opportunity and a chance to do this at the major league level. So that means working hard and getting the most out of it, and spending my time in the minor leagues to one day do this at the major league level.
Do you feel like you're close to being ready to make that?
Yeah, I feel like I'm ready. No doubt about it. This level, we've got a lot of guys that have been up and down the major leagues. It's been a good group to work with. Older players. It's more about finding the little things that can maybe help them get over the hump, and also have them playing good baseball. The time that the phone rings and they're needed somewhere, if it's there in Chicago with the Cubs, or if it's the organization thinking about putting together a trade and having one of these players go elsewhere and have a chance to play, kind of like what I did going from the Phillies to the Cubs. I did that right after my AAA season, and was able to play every day and get 630 or 640 at bats that very next year. So the opportunity. So that's how it is with these guys, and I do the best that I can to prepare them and have them ready, and really have them all ready for that chance.
Do you think the fact that you've been promoted so quickly in the feeder system for Chicago, do you think that's a good indication that you might be considered for the next managerial position?
Well, I think that's gone hand in hand with doing a good job, and the openings being there for me. There's been some movement in the organization with some of the managers that were ahead of me to move elsewhere, and so I don't think that's been a game plan by any means, but it's worked out well, and the bottom line is, now almost having a full year under my belt at AAA, I feel like I'm ready for the next step.
You ever talk with Lou Finelli? You ever nudge him, try to get him out of the way there?
No. I worked hand in hand with him. He's had a great career, and he does a fine job, and worked under him in spring training with a lot of my players, and he was great to be around. And I just hope the best for him and the team the rest of the year. And if he decides to stay on, I wish him the best if he stays on, no doubt.
What do you think about the talk that maybe you might need to go manage in another organization at the major league level for you?
I haven't heard that, but I'm open to talk to anybody, and just like the players, I want to be ready if the phone rings and somebody wants me to manage their major league club. I want to be ready for that, and I feel like I am. and if that's elsewhere, then that's the way it'll be.
So what do you think the Major League Cubs need to do to get their season turned around? Do you have any ideas on that, or you watch them closely at all?
Well, even spring training, I felt like their lineup would be better than they've done up to this point. I thought they'd score runs. Their pitching, the bullpen is evident to have struggled. 4 or 5 of my bullpen guys are up there right now pitching out of the bullpen, so I don't think that's gone as planned. But there is time left, and they do have some top-notch players that need to come through and turn it up a notch.
As a Hall of Fame player, is there any aspect of managing that surprised you when you started doing it?
I don't think I've been surprised, but I've just learned a lot going into it. It was different standing out there at second base and working hand in hand with the pitcher and the shortstop and all that communication. But in some ways, it kind of stopped there, and then that was my job. As managing, I wear a lot of hats out here. I work with the pitchers to some extent to see what they're doing. I work with the catchers to shut down the running game, adjust the defense. I work with the hitters somewhat. So there's a lot to that, and there's just been a lot to learn, I think, is the main thing. I think I'm pleasantly surprised. I think that I've taken to it and adjusted as well as I have to it. I think that's the main thing, but it's often commented that not too many Hall of Famers have managed at the major league level after they've gone into the Hall of Fame, and I think the reason being, they weren't willing to justify that or put their time in and learn what there is so much to be learned here to manage. A lot of them haven't gone that route, so they haven't had that opportunity. So for me, I decided 4 years ago this is what I wanted to see about doing and see if I liked it, and now I want to continue putting in my time and give myself that chance to do it at the major leagues.